Okay, so we are going to do this. Okay, this is the point which we did not cover um, uh, because you were absent and I sent you these 2 poems. Okay, so we are going to cover the same poem. Okay, so it is Where We Belong, a Duet. Okay, so are you going to read it? Okay, read it. First, read it.
Mhm. In every town and village, in every city square, in crowded places, I searched the faces, hoping to find someone to care. I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars, then I went to schoolrooms and poolrooms and half-lighted cocktail bars, braving dangers, going with strangers. I don't even remember their names. I was quick and breezy and always easy playing romantic games.
Okay.
I wined and dined 1,000 exotic Jones and Janes in dusty halls and debutante balls on lowly country lanes. I fell in love forever twice every year or so. I wooed them sweetly, was theirs completely, but they always let me go, saying, "Why now? No need to try now. You don't have the charms. Too sentimental and much too gentle. I don't tremble in your arms." Then you rose into my life like a promised sunrise, brightening my days with a light in your eyes. I've never been so strong. Now I'm where I belong.
Okay. So this is okay. So first of all, we are just going to see the meaning of this word duet. Okay, as from here you can see the meaning of the word duet. Like duet is a performance by two singers, or instrumentalists, or dancers. Okay, and here we can see a duet is a musical composition for two performers in which the performers have equal importance to the piece. Often a composition involving two singers or two painters. So this is what the duet word has its meaning. Okay, so then here you can see here. So it starts with, and the name where we belong, are dude. So this is the word, this is the thing which is showing us the moment when you find the person whom you are finding. Okay, so this is what the title is showing us. And then here, when we see the first stanza, in every town and village, in every city square, in crowded places, I search the faces, hoping to find someone to care. Okay, the very first stanza, it is showing us enjambment. Like here, we can see the enjambment for their frantic search for love. Okay, the one whom you are finding. So it's showing a kind of frantic search because the here she has used the enjambment. We know when we use the enjambment, so we don't complete that, the whole line or the sentence. We just, move to next lines, move to uh, other words, in order to complete our, uh, our words, our emotions, our feelings, whatever we want to show. So this is how the enjambment is showing her frantic search for love. That's why here she has used enjambment. Okay, then if we see I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars. Then I went to schoolrooms and pool rooms and half lighted cocktail bars, braving dangers, going with the strangers. I don't even remember their names. I was quick and breezy and always playing romantic games. So here, if we see, I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars. So she is talking about her wishful thinking, And then here she's talking about different places. Okay, so these are the sleazy places to pick up women. Here we can see the different names of the places. Okay, and then here if we see when she's saying I don't even remember their names. So here at one aside, when she's saying she was searching someone, but on the other hand, in her search, when she found different people, so she is saying, because she met so many people, so she is saying uh, that she doesn't remember their names. So here this is showing like they mean nothing for her. Uh, at one side we can see she is searching, but on the other hand when she met different people, because there were so many, so they meant nothing for her. And then if we see here, I was quick and breezy and always playing romantic games. Okay, so so she was in search, but on the other hand she is saying, so she was also playing games, showing something like she was also not serious. Okay, then I wined and dined 1,000 exotic Jones and Janes in dusty dance halls, at debutante balls, on lonely country lanes. I fell in love forever, twice every year or so. I wooed them sweetly, was there completely, but they always let me go, saying, bye now. No need to try now. You don't have the proper charms, too sentimental and too much and much too gentle. I don't tremble in your arms. So here we can see, uh, the words here, debutante ball. So this is showing searching for love everywhere. Okay, and debutante, we know the meaning of the word, especially it is used for a female woman from upper class who is introduced to society. Okay, so here, and then if we see here, so here we can see the contradiction in her own words, like once when she's saying I fell in love forever, then she is saying twice every year, so a kind of contradiction. So here these lines are giving us binary opposition to each other, two different meanings. So that's why we are calling it extended oxymoron. Oxymoron, when you talk about two different things at the same time. So that is how we can see a kind of extended oxymoron in the poem, when at one hand she is saying that she was searching for love, but on the other hand we can see from her words that she wasn't also serious about these all things. Okay, then here we can see I wooed them sweetly, was theirs completely. Again different, her different, a kind of contradiction in her words, but they always let me go, saying bye now, no need to try now. Okay, so here now we can see, just a minute. Okay, so here, but they always let me go. So here, at one hand, she was also not serious, but on the other hand, when she's talking about different people whom she met, so they always, left her, sorry. So then here we can see, okay, this is how, she's using the words. This is how they use the word, they for her, she's using the words, too sentimental and much too gentle, I don't tremble in your arms. So these are the words which she listen from those all people. And then you rose into my life. So this is something, it is showing, finally she found what she was searching for. So then you rose into my life like a promised sunrise, brightening my days with the light in your eyes. I've never been so strong. Now I'm where I belong. So here the last stanza, when they find each other. So this is a kind of happy ending. Here we are saying, so now I'm where I belong. It is showing that at the end she has found what she was searching for. And then here, the complete sentence with no enjambment shows her completion once she found the one, the person whom she was finding. Okay, here, Where We Belong, a Duet by Maya Angelou. Where We Belong, a Duet by Maya Angelou is an uplifting poem about how satisfying finding a true connection to another person can be. Okay. So the main idea is that the poem celebrates the long quest for a true connection and what it's like when you finally find it. If we see the poem in brief, the poem is written in a musical style using perfect rhymes. Okay, perfect rhymes, the word I have already told you. The perfect rhyme are the exact rhyme. These both are synonymous words, and these are the words when we use them for when we see the same stress vowel and consonant sounds in the poem. Okay, so the poem is written in a musical style using perfect rhymes and internal rhymes, and here you can also find the internal rhymes. What are the internal rhymes? Like internal rhymes, they occur in the middle of the lines. Okay, here we find the rhyming words in the middle of the lines. Okay, uh, okay, internal rhymes to make each line flow into the next. It also discusses an easy to understand series of emotions and states of being that should be highly relatable to many readers. Okay, so here, this is the summary of the poem. Where We Belong, a Dude by Maya Angelou is a simple poem that explores the never-ending search for connections. So here, in the first lines, the poet's speaker describes how she looked high and low for someone who truly cared. He spent much of her early life enjoying the brevity of romantic relationships until she started searching for more meaning. She was alone with this process repeating over and over again until she met the person she was with now. This person brought her happiness and strength in a way she'd never experienced before. Okay, so this is the summary of the poem. And then if we see the structure and form, so here there are four stanzas. Uh, okay, so it's a four stanza poem that does not follow a specific rhyme scheme. This means that the lines end with different words like village, square, as we saw in the first stanza. So village is square and places in the first stanza, but at the same time, it also doesn't mean that the poem is without rhyme. There are perfect rhymes scattered throughout this poem, like places and faces in a stanza one, and a square and care in a stanza one. Okay. In this poem, the poet uses the following literary words. Anaphora. This is seen when the poet repeats the same word or phrase at the beginning of multiple lines. For example, in starts the first three lines of the first stanza. If we see the first stanza of the poem, so there is anaphora, which is start. Okay, this is here we can see these three lines are starting with the same word. This is what we call anaphora. Okay, and then enjambment, this is seen when the poet, okay, cuts off a line before its natural stopping point. For example, the transition between lines one and two of stanza 2. This was also seen in the first stanza. Okay, then there is internal rhyme. This is type of rhyme that's seen when the poet places perfect rhymes inside lines of verse. For example, wined and dined in stanza 3. Okay, now, okay, read it better. The very first stanza.
In every town and village, in every city square, in crowded places, I search the faces, hoping to find someone to care.
Okay, so here in the first stanza, in the first lines of this poem, the speaker begins by describing where and why she searches. She searches for someone to care. Everywhere she goes, she sees. This includes the towns, villages, and every city square. This stanza is filled with perfect rhymes, giving it a very musical feeling. The repetition of the word in adds to this. And then readers can easily feel the speaker's determination and near desperation to find exactly what she's looking for. There's also a sadness in these lines as it's something as simple as care that she's looking for. Okay, read these lines.
I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars. Then I went to schoolrooms and poolrooms and half-lighted cocktail bars, braving dangers, going with strangers. I don't even remember their names. I was quick and breezy and always easy playing romantic games.
Okay, so here now in the second stanza, like this stanza, which is several lines longer than the first, the speaker describes how she searches for someone to care, while also reading mysterious meanings into the stars and finds reasons to go to cocktail bars, schoolrooms, and pool rooms, searching for her meaning. She'd spent um, time with the strangers. She adds, suggesting she had sexual encounters with men she didn't know and enjoyed playing these romantic games. It was quick and breezy. There's a lack of care in these lines that are juxtaposed with the speaker's desire for meaning. Okay, juxtaposition is also when you talk about two different things at the same time. Okay, so, okay, there is a kind of lack of care in these lines that are juxtaposed with the speaker's desire for meaning and care in the first stanza. This continues into the third stanza as she discusses falling in love. Okay, okay, read this third stanza. Mm, okay, yes.
I wined and dined 1,000 exotic Jones and Janes in dusty halls at debutante balls on lonely country lanes. I fell in love forever, twice every year or so. I wooed them sweetly, was theirs completely, but they always let me go. Saying bye now, no need to try now. You don't have the proper charms, too sentimental and much too gentle. I don't tremble in your arms.
Okay, now in the third stanza, the poet speaker describes more about her life and how she moved from place to place and from person to person looking for meaning. She met various people, indicated by the reference to Jones and Janes, and fell in love forever, twice every year or so. This clever phrase alludes to the intensity and gravity of emotions at this time. The many people she met and loved let her go for a few different reasons, including her being too sentimental and much too gentle. She never found the person who stuck in her life as she wanted them to. That changes, though, the poet indicates in the fourth and final stanza. Okay, I'll read this fourth stanza.
Then you rose into my life like a promised sunrise, brightening my days with the light in your eyes. I've never been so strong. Now I'm where I belong.
Okay, so and the fourth stanza and the last stanza, which is 5 lines long, the poet describes someone coming into um, her speaker's life like a promised sunrise. This is a simple and beautiful simile that is easy for readers to interpret. The sun, or this new person the speaker loves, is there now, brightening her days with the light in your eyes. Okay, the eyes of that person. This person's presence, she adds, has even added to her overall strength. She's where she belongs now, and there's nothing she would change. When the poem ends, readers learn that this person has given the speaker love, happiness, and a sense of belonging, and a newfound strength that she didn't have before. Okay, now if we see the few things about this poem, like the central message of the poem, like two connections are possible. We can see from the poem, she searched. She was searching for a long time, but at the end, she uh, found the person whom you know she was finding. And then themes. Here we can see the two main themes like love and relationship. Speaker, that is the poet Maya Angelou, but it's not sure. Like Maya Angelou herself is the speaker, but we can call it the poet. Okay. Then there are the emotions evoked. Uh, these are joyfulness and love for him. And okay, okay. So this is how. Okay, few minutes are left. So okay, this was another poem, The Country Lover. Okay, okay, beta, read these lines. This is the shortest. This is the shortest of the poems which we are going to cover. All the poems of the Maya Angelou, which we will cover throughout this course. This is the shortest of them all. Okay, read this poem.
Funky blues, keen-toed shoes, high-water pants, Saturday night dance, red soda water, and anybody's daughter.
Okay, so this is the all poem. Okay, so here we see like funky blues. This is showing the country music. Okay, here you can see the word blues. Okay, the country blues is music that relies on the expressive power of the voice with sparse instrumental accompaniment. Okay, so this is the detail of it. But if we see the word blues here, you can see again. Like blues is country blues is a style of blues music that developed in rural America, particularly the Mississippi Delta region in the early 20th century. Also called folk blues, it was commonly performed by black American singers accompanying themselves on acoustic guitar. Okay, so this is the name of the poem is the first line of the poem is showing that the name of that country music. Okay, here again we can see the word funky blues, country music, same as the title. It has the same name as the title. Okay, and then here with these few lines like funky blues, keen-toed shoes, high-water pants, Saturday night dance, red soda water, and anybody's daughter. So these all lines, these are showing us that could be a celebration of her culture, and this poem is of a still image of a moment in time. Okay, and then here these all lines like these rhyming lines that rhyming reflects the beat of the music. Okay, here if you see, like Country Lover by Maya Angelou is a blues inspired poem that uses the rhythm of music to depict a country dance scene. The poem is only 6 lines long and is filled with imagery. Okay. The main idea, the central idea is that this is a beautiful music filled poem that within 6 lines evokes the power of blues music. And then, poem in brief, this, this poem of the Angelou is different than some of her better known pieces. It's very short and focuses on sound and imagery more than it does on an overall message. That doesn't mean that it lacks meaning, though, and readers will likely, the more time they spend with this poem, find more and more meaning in its 6 lines. Okay, so here the summary of the poem is that in the first lines, the poet mentions the funky blues, referring to the blues music that's playing at the dance. She also describes the style of those dancing with their keen-toed shoes and their high water pants. This evokes a very specific fashion sense that's worn with passion and pride. Okay, and then the poet also describes the dance as a social gathering that may be a regular occurrence in this small community. The term sadi is used instead of Saturday, which may indicate a colloquial speech pattern that matches the environment. And then the final stanza describes the red soda water and anybody's daughter. Here the poet introduces a sense of inclusivity. She describes a carefree atmosphere where simple players enjoyed and the dancers could be anyone. Okay, then the structure and form, like Country Lover by Maya Angelou is a short 2 stanza poem that is divided into one 4 line stanza and one 2 line stanza. The poem is written with a rhyme scheme of AA, BB, and CC. The BB rhymes could be considered half rhymes with the words pants and dance. The poet is quite sure. Okay, the poem is quite short and to the point, utilizing simple direct images to provide readers with a snapshot into a place and experience. And the literary devices here uh, is imagery. This is seen when the poet uses interesting images, for example, high water pants and funky blues. Then is the enjambment. This occurs when the poet cuts off a line before its natural stopping point. For example, the transition between lines 1 and 2 and 3 in stanza 1. And then here is a sibilance. This can be seen when the poet repeats the same S sound in multiple words. For example, blues, shoes, and pants in stanza 1. Okay. Okay, now the stanza 1, like funky blues, keen-toed shoes, high-water pants, Saturday night dance. In the first stanza of this poem, image-rich poem, the poet describes 4 different images, one on each line. She also uses a simple rhyme scheme here, rhyming the first two lines and the second two lines. The poet describes the music playing at the dance, funky blues, as well as some of the clothing items people are wearing. There are keen-toed shoes and high-water pants. These descriptions help set the scene and allow readers to imagine what the people look like and what the atmosphere is. Blues music is something that connects to Angelou's its opera and her overall focus on the experiences of African American communities. She also connects the poem back to the title when she uses the word Sadie instead of Saturday. This indicates a particular dialect which, when connected to the title Country Lover, adds to the poem's overall atmosphere. Okay, now here the word opera you can see here, it's an opera is a writer's body of work. It includes everything they wrote and published throughout their life. Okay, so we are talking about her you know whole writing. And then here in the last these two. Okay, the opening lines are light-hearted and relaxed, with the speaker analyzing and describing what's going on around them rather than truly digging into any particular emotion. And the second stanza is red soda water and anybody's daughter. In the final two lines, the poet the writes about the red soda water everyone is drinking and mentions anybody's daughter. This could lead readers to a couple of different interpretations. The reference to daughters could indicate that this is a place where anybody can fit in, and that the women they are come from many different families and backgrounds. And then, after the first opening lines, it seems likely that the poet was hoping to evoke a feeling of inclusivity rather than judgment. She ends on this note, allowing readers to fill in any more details they see fit. Okay. Uh, okay. What do you think? What can be the meaning? Which meaning would you infer from these lines, like anybody's daughter? Yes, Rixa.